Look, I don't know where this is gonna go, but it was on my mind to talk about. I've got a friend, right? And I told her a story, and the story goes like this. I was living in Columbus, and I was coming from a job I had. I worked at a call center, and after no, I went from the job, and then I went to Gold's Gym. All right, so I'm coming back. I'm a little hungry, you know, a little testy, and at that point in time in my life, I was I don't know. I guess you would call a fighter. Not that I went around looking for a fight, but looking back, that's actually probably I would put myself in situations which would require it. You know, mental fighting, physical fighting. Word war words. Posturing. You know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Run around like an ape, beating your chest, throwing shit around to see who backs down first, and if not, you get into a little scuffle, whatever. And through the grace of the Most High, thanking the Most High, I never was seriously injured, shot, killed, stabbed, thrown off a bridge, run over by a truck. And these are things that could have definitely happened. So I guess that's why I'm bringing this story. Had been on my mind for a while, and I told her quite a few times, probably enough times where she's like, I heard this already. But anyway, she and I don't hang out as much as we used to, but she texted me the other day, gave me, just see how it was, and the story popped back up. But anyway, back to the story. From work, goes gym. From goes gym, I'm driving. Um, this guy cuts me off, and I immediately go in road rage mode. I'm like, I'm gonna smash him. So I get behind him, and just so happens he was turning where I was turning. But there's this place in Columbus. It's like Suds and Spuds or something like. It's like a laundromat and a bar, right at the same time. So he pulls in there, and so I pull in behind him and like to block his car, and I hop out the car, and I see immediately he's a lot smaller than I am. Not and I'm not a big guy, but I weighed him probably about 50 pounds. I was a lot, I carried a lot more weight at the time, but by good 50 pounds, he's a little guy. And so I start, you cut me off. He's like, puts up a hand. He's like, okay. And I'm like, He said, I hear you, And I wanted a, reaction from this guy. I wanted a fight, I guess. So all of a sudden, his face changed. And I don't mean like into, some demonic, gnarled up looking thing looking back at me. I mean his like it's like he made a decision in his mind. He flipped that switch, and it was like he looked at me and was like, "All right then," and he started walking towards me like we're about to fight. And something inside of me said, "You know what? You gonna have to back down." I know, the ego is yelling at you, but this is the logic center telling you this is not gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. Let's get in the car and drive away. And immediately my face changed from to okay, I'll be talking to you later. And I get in the car and I drive home. And that's one. There's like maybe one time in school when damn near the whole school was chasing me. That time, one time I got caught doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing by my wife, my ex-wife, and this time I truly felt fear. You know what I'm saying? I haven't felt fear too many times, in my life that I'm not gonna make it. But when that guy's face changed and he looked at me and he was like, "All right then." He was calm and cool, like whatever it is I was preventing him from doing. He had enough of it. He had enough of me talking down to him and belittling him and just yelling and not hearing it. And when I look back, the entire time he was saying, like I apologize, I'm sorry, in his way, like I got you, I understand. And I just I smelled blood, so I was coming for him, and then he's like, no, that was a trick. I'm not who you think I am. I got something I had to do. So when I think of things that really like scared me, you know what I'm saying, like for real fear, that's one of them, because I've rarely seen that look pointed towards me. Yeah, I've worked in a prison, so a military joint. So I've seen that look before on both guard and inmate, but never directed at me. And I guess I like to say, be careful who you're talking to. Be careful of who you pick a fight with. You really don't know what's going on with them that day, or period in their life, or who they really are. You have no idea. It is best to take it. We're in a time when people are starting to feel that pressure, the pressure that they've been denying they, for about a decade or so. Now it's really there. Especially with this the tech the technology that we have at hand. It's easier for one person to get at another person, for good or ill, and you never know who's on the other side of that text message, who really is, who's really on the other side of that email, who's really on the other side of that video, and they're talking but they never show their face, or use a robot voice, or an audio book, who really knows. So as more of us start to understand this, the need for physical interaction is, I predict, I believe, is going to become more increasingly relevant. More increasingly relevant, and I say that because the average person has to know the dangers of social media. Like I said, YouTube is probably the only spot that you can go to where it could go either way, but it goes more towards somebody trying to tell somebody something. What they're trying to tell them, it's up to the author. You know, um, but at least most people that are showing their faces, like they have some type of platform, something that they're trying to deliver to the masses versus that thing that you could have a conversation with and get into a whole heap of trouble, listening to someone you shouldn't listen to, or doing something you shouldn't do, or taking some type of risk that you shouldn't be taking with a person other than your spouse, your betrothed, things of that nature. So once these things start, really getting deep into the old cerebellum, I think most of us are going to start having more face-to-face encounters. Uh, be a video chat. Like it's going to, like, I need to see you. Before I start talking to you, I need to know who I'm talking to. And in that is going to come into play, someone's personality, who they are. So, all that to say is, be careful who you're dealing with, and if you don't know who you're dealing with, um, definitely move cautiously. That's 99.9% of us know that, but I just felt like saying it. I just felt like sharing that story and really getting it off my chest, because you had to be there. You had to be there, and it would have looked, if anybody, people inside of the place was looking like he's about to kill this dude, and then all of a sudden he just changed. It was like, no, I'm sorry, this is about to not go your way, and everything in me said, leave, just freaking leave, just go. There's been plenty of times I've walked away from a fight. I'm not stupid at all. Um, you don't generally get into a physical combat mental combat or spiritual combat unless you know. Well, let's let's strike spiritual combat. You get into that when anytime the opportunity presents itself. But as far as when you're about to get into it and you don't know who you're dealing with, um, it's best to feel those situations out. Any and all, because it's coming. It's definitely coming. The mind frame of the average person in America was already combative. You know, and now it's, the paranoia is definitely gonna hit. I see it coming. Paranoia because of multimedia. Like I said, YouTube is the only thing that I could see that or platforms like that. Um, but other than that, all the rest of them is definitely causing paranoia, distrust. You don't know what's real, what's fake. Somebody could throw out some news there and put it in a believable format, and before you know it, you downstairs in storm cellar waiting for missiles to hit the earth, from who knows where, and nothing's happening. You know, because someone crafted a great narrative. So definitely be on the lookout for unwanted physical confrontations that can be de-escalated with this. You beat your enemy before you ever even put your hands on him. Before you ever even put your hands on him, you put him in a mind frame that you want him in, and that's rarely done by yelling. Very rarely done by yelling. All right, well, don't know how that turned out because I just wanted to tell that story real briefly, get it off my chest because it's been burning a hole in it, and I've only told one other person. So, you have a good day.